Every week I have an intraday session with my subscribers and use the same logic in making decisions. It's more than just a strategy, it's a way of thinking. And I'll be surprised at how easy it is. I don't know the perfection of smart money or technical analysis, but I use the most basic tools that work forever, unlike fashionable indicators. First of all, let me quickly and schematically show you what a typical transaction looks like, which I will be sure of when dozens of people copy my account. I will need three things of this tactic. First, I need to know what a trend line is. Secondly, I need to understand what an imbalance zone is. And third, I need to know where and how the liquidity will be generated. This is a schematic transaction, and the ideal setup was formed, among other things, due to the fact that the downward trend allowed us to form an inclined liquidity in the form of a trend line. That is, each peak, which becomes lower and lower than the previous one, forms liquidity. Because traders put their stop losses behind three peaks if we are talking about a downward movement. If it is about the upward, then the opposite is true. So there is a very simple moment when the chart finally break out and overcome the inclined trend line, as a result of which we have a sharp impulse, and our task is to find either a support zone or an imbalance zone, which will become a new area of interest for our chart. And only after we have a pullback to the zone of interest, we consider opening positions, the purpose of which will be to achieve the above-mentioned maximums. So this can be either the achievement of a global maximum or, for example, some local zones that you noted earlier. So now let's look at the trade that just last week, using this strategy, brought me nothing less than 700. Considering that my initial balance was 1000. Here is an absolutely identical situation, where you see at a first downward movement and where you can easily determine the inclined liquidity and draw a trend line. So that is, here I draw the trend line through several touches. There are the peaks and a few more local peaks. The more the chart touches the trend line and starts off, the more inclined liquidity will be formed, which contributes to the fact that the chart will then shoot up sharply at the moment when it overcomes this trend line. So here we have something like a parallel channel, which unfortunately breaks down. But as you can see, at this moment the chart is getting a sharp acceleration due to overcoming the trend line. It is very dangerous to enter long now, so we will need the imbalance zone indicator with you. You can add it absolutely for free on the TradingView platform, and this indicator just perfectly highlights the areas that can attract our price. So these areas are both at the top and at the bottom. Therefore, these zones are, in fact, the key area of interest for our trade. So therefore, I will wait for a rollback to this area and will make a trade here without any problems when this rollback to its area just occurs. So here we can immediately consider two long positions. The first position is quite short, for example, to update this maximum, and the second position is more global, to update the maximum from which the downward movement started. So I put my stop strictly outside the imbalance zone, because it is from the imbalance zone that the chart can get a very good reaction. I will place the second trade lower. There is a high probability that the price may not reach my limit order. But due to this, I can set a longer stop, get the same excellent risk to profit ratio of 1 to 2, but set my goal much higher than the previous short trade. And you can make any one of these transactions or two transactions at once, but as you can see, that this is a limit, both was taken without any problems, and the transactions were implemented. Of course, there are minor nuances about the second trade. I posted the forecast on my Telegram channel, and I was just writing to you, sharing my thoughts and my setups about this for absolutely free. But I decided to get a little greedy. I did not close this trade because more globally we had other zones that were on top. So let's say we can switch to a 15-minute time frame now, and you'll see that there is liquidity here too. Of course, I shouldn't overestimate my strengths because even on the upward movement, we can find a trend line that will later be crossed and overcome. So there was even a retest of this trend line, but I decided to get greedy, which caused a rather insulting moment. And my second trade closed without the loss by stop loss. So nevertheless, I made a profit of 700 on this trade. So you can connect to this account absolutely for free, and to do this, you just need to follow the link from the description under this video and write to me personally. Well, we are moving on to the next position. So the second trade is on the same currency pair, on which I earned 761, again taking into account that the balance was only 1000. So let's look at it. We are not particularly interested in the bottom line. This figure can be viewed in different ways, like a falling wedge or an expanding channel, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that here, again, we have a clear resistance line, a downtrend, and our task is to wait for the price to break through and test our trend line. So again, we should give some acceleration to the chart. We include the indicator of the imbalance zone in order to understand where the price may drop in general. So let's look at the 15-minute time frame. Here we have formed the imbalance zone from which we can probably trade. So I put a limit order here in advance. We are looking for a liquidity zone from above. Of course, we could put, let's say, take profit here, but in this situation, I see a more accurate liquidity zone, which is likely to be removed for sure. This is just a local maximum, which also acts as a resistance line, so the price can easily reach here. The stop loss is already adjusted either for the nearest imbalance zone, but it is not here, or for the level. Unfortunately, it's quite a long way to put a stop loss here, so the ratio of 1 to 1.5 is fine with me in principle. So let's see how this trade will develop. Here is such a short position, which was also completed within 1 day. I also published this trade in my Telegram channel. Here was a forecast. Here is the result of this trade. You can view all other close position from my intraday session directly by connecting to my account. This information is provided in the post. Let's look at another trade with a very similar logic. We had a sell position on the euro-dollar, even two all positions, which brought me 726 and 1524 respectively, again with only a balance of 1000. This is a starting balance that I started with when I trade by copy trading with my subscribers. So here you can immediately pay attention to the trend line. Yes, we will look at how the price works out against this trend. Before that, we had a huge imbalance zone that we had just closed. So therefore, we are carefully monitoring how the price will behave right now, because we have already blocked the most basic zone, and now we may continue the downward movement, which was triggered by this huge impulse, a huge red candlestick. And here I draw your attention to the fact that we are forming a good horizontal level, which can also act as a zone of interest for us. And right now I would have no problem going short, but unfortunately it was 8 AM in my time, and therefore if you trade in a different time zone or other sessions, you could easily make a position here. Unfortunately, I did not have such an opportunity, so I can only wait for the moment when the price returns to this resistance area and open a trade from this area. So I will also need imbalance zone indicators here, which highlights all the necessary zones where I can place my trade very well. Therefore, this trade, for example, could be very short with a ratio of 1 to 1.5, and we could open a second trade with you or longer, set the take profit a little lower, and as a result set your stop loss a little higher, just for the last maximum that we have formed at this level. Well, let's see what happens here. Both limits are take first, and then the price starts to fall rapidly, collides with some kind of horizontal level and receives a correction. Thus, on this transaction, as I just showed you, I earned more than 2000 net. There are two euro-dollar sales transactions. I also close them in real time, show them in my Telegram channel. So that's why I got 2 great trades with a good profit, and the most important thing is that those who copied my account got a similar profit. So, my friends, adopt these tactics. It's very simple. You just need to find a trend line, or you need to find a zone of interest using an imbalance or resistance support level when the price comes to this level. And using the indicator of imbalance zone again, or with the help of your own knowledge, when you understand where liquidity is and where the price may come from, you can easily place your take profit and stop loss. Thank you for watching this video. Put your knowledge into practice. Bye everyone.